in a way to all of us. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just go ahead and pay attention. Thank you.
In the summer of 1866, July 28th to be exact, the United States Congress passed legislation establishing a peacetime military. Before the legislation was passed, a hotly debated issue concerned the inclusion of African Americans in the regular Army. Some politicians made the then radical suggestion that the Army fully integrate African Americans into its ranks. Other politicians wanted the Army to remain white-only. They eventually agreed to maintain the status quo and continue placing African American recruits in segregated units.
When I went on at
21 years old.
Get $21 a month. We had some money.
$21.
Yeah.
I got my first paycheck. I thought I had some.
A provision of the 1866 legislation created 6 regiments of African American troops, 4 infantry and 2 cavalry of approximately 1,000 men each. In August 1866, the 9th and 10th Cavalries were organized. The 9th Cavalry was in Greenville, Louisiana, with most of the original recruits from nearby New Orleans, Louisiana, and Louisville, Kentucky. The 10th Cavalry was at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Many of the recruits in both units were freed slaves from the North, the adversaries, fighting ferociously to the end and living up to their motto, "We can, we will, and ready at full." The Buffalo soldiers were sent to the Great Plains along the Rio Grande, New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, Colorado, and into the Dakotas. The duties of the 9th and 10th U.S. Cavalries included guarding the mail, escorting and guarding stagecoaches, cattle drives, railroad crews, and surveyors. They built roads and telegraph lines. They mapped and explored, including mapping vast territories in Arizona and New Mexico, even marking water holes. They played a major part in building the West and making it safe for the westward expansion. Was the first African American graduate of the U.S. Military Academy, West Point, class of 1877. Lieutenant Flipper excelled in engineering, law, French, and Spanish. After dismissal from the Army, Henry Ocean Flipper went on to obtain recognition and respect as a surveyor, and in 1890, he opened his own civil mining engineering office in Nogales, Arizona. In 1994, the Arizona legislature passed and the governor signed House Joint Resolution 2001, designating a portion of State Route 90 as the Buffalo Soldiers.
Some of y'all may remember Mr. Wilson. He served for as long as I've been living here at your school, at our school. So if y'all don't mind, y'all give Mr. Wilson a round of applause, please.
And we do need to stick together because we can when we are together. And I just want to speak with you briefly on the topic of writing your history. Writing your history, and I want to talk about his story versus your story. Now, I understand that history is actually from the Greek historia, which basically means inquiry or knowledge acquired through investigation. But work with me here, just through the furtherance of this. When you break down the word history, it's like his story. But I want to talk to you today about your story as a part of his story or opportunity. So each one of you need to seize your opportunities. Number 2, know that you deserve success. And then number 3, write your story. Firstly, seize your opportunities. In other words, it's important to take advantage of the opportunities that are set before you. Today, people have many opportunities, but for some reason, choose not to use them. You have teachers, wonderful teachers here, wonderful mentors here at the high school. One of was just pointed out as well, Mr. Garfield in the community, and also Mr. Parker III, wonderful mentor, and I'm sure there are many here. And the reason why I mention him and Mr. Garfield, just because I know my brother and I I got a chance to meet Mr. Garfield and look at a lot of the literature that he does. Wonderful mentors that you have, and use them. They're at your disposal. And also technology. How many of you have Facebook pages? Yeah, you might as well go ahead and raise your hand. I'm sure each and every, I'm going to go to y'all Facebook page and look y'all up.
This program, check her out YouTube, Keela 2012. She wanted me to do that for you. If nothing else, the next voice you'll hear is going to be Mr. Antonio Barrow, also known as A-Slap. Y'all give it up for him.
Stand tall for the weak and discrimination, imitating the rights only get you to segregation, still waiting for change, but we the ones we waiting on. Obama said that, but I'll say it on this song. Martin Luther King had a dream, we know that, and you ain't gotta be a smart thing to know that. Even though education come first, gotta stick to the books like a chick to a purse. Living through a war. Seems when we ask for peace, then there comes more. Gotta fight, live it right, hold it tight, cold nights, keep warm, through thick, through thin, through pain, through storms. I done seen it all, done it all. Oh wait, there's history, old dates. Black history comes from the past, and its present still comes from today to the last. There's so much division and separation today, separated by beliefs, religion, and race. Problem with the world right now. Focus on everybody's differences and the safety of my back. Feel your dream and take it back. Don't let go and hold it back. And today I'm glad I'm black. Yeah, I got your back. All that go, don't take it back. Stand up now and face the fact that together we can have real estate. Yeah, you got my back. Feel your dream and take it back. Don't let go and hold it back. And today I'm glad I'm black. I've been through a lot, but I still keep fighting. Oh, you been through the rain? Boy, I've been through lightning. Yeah, stop that, promising. Swing away, Jackie Robinson. And I refuse to lose my point. I should choose to refuse to get up Rosa Parks. Don't sit there, hold up. She so job. Chat out the reason right, she fought hard. They say alpha, mental mortality, and fight to that.